Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I work for Access, and I am here with Jane Train, and she is from the band Not by Sight. Hi, Jane.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. So you have a new band, Not by Sight, and you are the lead singer, correct?
I am. Nobody else would do it.
Well, I'm sure you're probably really, really good at it. So they probably didn't want to try it, right?
I'm an Italian girl with a big mouth. It works. Yeah, thank God it's musical.
So I understand from some things that I've read about you that you come actually from a very musical family. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Both my parents were musicians. My father was the more successful, supported himself and the family for a bit. With his music, he played in big bands when he was 14. He went on the road with Benny Goodman.
Wow.
And he's played with a lot of the big band artists. And then I believe in the 70s, he worked for a lot of the TV shows that had live orchestras, like the Carol Burnett Show and things like that.
Wow. So you had quite a background, quite a bit of teaching.
Yeah.
From...
And my mother went to Yale School of Music, and she's amazing on piano, and she has such an amazing ear. And she's a piano technician, so her ear comes in, very handy.
Right.
And she, for the last 20 years of Les Paul's life, he used her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
really? So wow, that's great.
Les Paul's piano tech. Yep.
So you have it in your blood. I mean, you've had
definitely in my blood.
Music going on your whole life. So you probably started really young, playing instruments and writing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said probably writing music and playing instruments when you were really young.
I think the first song I wrote was when I was 10 years old.
Wow. It's young.
But according to my mother, I could match tones on the piano before I could speak.
That's
when I was when I was a few months old, which is
amazing.
Odd.
Wow.
That freaked me out.
That is amazing.
So, but I didn't start out a singer. I was a keyboard player for a long time because I just assumed everybody could sing. I had no idea.
I've actually heard that from some different artists, or read that about some different artists, that they never really considered being the singer, that they would play instruments and do different things.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden somebody would tell them, you have a really great voice. And they just it never occurred to them that they had that gift. And so, but you have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
I listened to the new song, and the new song that you have out with your band is called Stand. And you do have a video for that on YouTube. It's a lyric video, was the one I saw. And so who are some of the other members of your band? What do they play or do in the band? And I understand that most of them are formerly of other bands. They've been in the business for a while.
Some of them are still in them. This didn't get together, Not by Sight didn't come together as a group at first. It really started with my co-writing with Corey Lowry, who is the bass player in Saint Sonia right now. And he's known for other bands that have been out there, I Empire, Stereo Mud, Stuck Mojo. And so he's had a long history in music.
Sure.
And so we had started this thing just writing together before he got the Saint Sonia gig. So if I would have secured a deal before that, he'd probably be in this band. But I am so happy and proud of him for landing such a wonderful gig with Saint Sonia.
They've been on fire, really. They've been doing really well.
Oh, amazing. amazing. And so, um, so now it was time to put a live band together after the writing and getting interest and, speaking to management and all these things. And so I already had the guitarist Virus. That's his name,
Okay.
Virus.
Okay.
I have a guitarist, Virus.
Right.
Virus was in a band with David Draymond from Disturbed.
Okay.
Called Device. And he's been doing some projects with me for a while, so that was an easy shoo-in that Virus would come into this project.
Okay.
Now, Corey actually suggested his old drummer from Empire, Ryan Bennett, who is amazing.
Okay.
And I'm really stoked to be working with him. And he also suggested the bass player, Rec. I have all these great names in the band, right? Rec, Virus,
Right. It's almost like you made them up, but you didn't. They're like...
Yeah, and that's his real name, and I love it. I had to ask him that when I first talked to him. But Rec is from Call Me No One, which was a band with Morgan and Clint from Seven Dust.
Okay.
And I already had done some live performances with the other guitarist, Troy McClawhorn, who's from Evanescence and Seether. Now he's still in Evanescence, so I can only really say he's a guest guitarist because, if Evanescence calls, he's got to go. So we're hoping like the schedule and everything will work out, and over time he'll be a permanent member, but as of right now, he is not. And if he has to go and pursue another avenue, I'm sure we'll find somebody to come in.
Well, it's interesting now, too, that because touring is such a big part of the music industry, there's so many musicians who have 2 or 3 bands sometimes, and they just work it out, and they tour at different times, and it's, you really have to stay on the road now, as opposed to years ago when you could put a CD out every 3 years and tour for a few months and be done with it. Touring is not like that anymore.
No.
So yeah, I mean, maybe he will get to stick around and do both bands. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope so. I love Troy. He's just such an amazing talent, and he's such a good guy. And that's the thing is, all my guys are good guys. I don't want to work with anything otherwise.
Right.
Like a lot of bands run into toxic situations. It seems to be common. You might just have not one guy, but I'm blessed that they're all just very, very nice people, and they already knew each other before I got them. So.
And that makes it easier when you're on the road and you have to do these things and traveling together. I mean, it's like a family. It really is. And if you have to travel with them every day and eat with them and the whole thing, you have to be able to get along. So.
Oh yeah.
So, I've seen some promo pics of you, and you have an amazing style.
I don't know what it is. I really don't, because I actually feel like I cannot dress, but I have absolutely no fashion sense. So I'll throw things together, and people are like, "You're so original," and I said, "I'm so clueless."
Well, that's funny because sometimes that's the way it is. When you really are a stylish person, you don't think about it. When you think too much, maybe, I don't know, but the pictures were really fantastic, and I noticed in one of them that you have a tattoo, and I believe it says Vegas. I had to look really close to see what it said.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, does that have some significance, or just something you liked, or?
I actually, my father lived and died in Vegas at the end of his life. And when I was out in Las Vegas, if you live there, you just say Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, like, I had a few people make fun of me. They said, that's like getting America without the A. And I said, well, if you live there,
That's what you
always
call
just
it.
refer to it as Vegas.
Right,
So
right.
that was in honor of my dad, and below it, and I have to get them touched up. They healed a little weird, but I have a pair of dye, and
Okay.
it sort of like spells out his birth date.
Okay, I don't think you could see.
Yeah.
I don't think that was in the photo, but what a nice tribute
Yeah.
to your dad. That's really nice.
Oh yeah.
Do you have other
He's lucky
tattoos?
I put it on the front side.
Yeah, not on the back side. No, but that is nice because if you're posing for photos, you can, it was kind of on your hip, I guess, where it is, and so it's
Yeah.
nice that you can make that part of the photo. And it looked really nice. And so, do you have other tattoos too, or just a few?
I do, and they really are all sentimental. The first tattoos that I got were matching fleur-de-lis on each wrist.
Okay.
And underneath one it says beauty, and underneath the other it says strength. And
Okay.
I got those after going to Paris after a really, really huge heartbreak.
Okay.
My marriage had ended, and it was a really horrible marriage. Honestly,
Right.
It wasn't healthy at all. And so I finally put my foot down. Was not going to accept anything less than what I deserve, and so on my supposed 5th wedding anniversary, I took off while he was with his new girlfriend.
There you go.
I took off. Oh, he had her before we were done. So I took off to Paris, and I had the most serendipitous trip ever. I actually ended up meeting and sort of, I guess I can't really call it dating, but became sort of like friends with Greg Allman, of all things.
Okay, interesting. That's very interesting, right?
Like, we come from 2 different worlds. He would never listen to my music and enjoy it. I enjoy his music, and I saw him play in Paris, and I just accidentally ran into him after the show. We just hit it off. He's got a great sense of humor. He was very much a part of my healing. He was, when I got my divorce decree, now this is a man who's been married
a few times, right? a few times.
I think like 5.
Yeah.
Like 5. And so when I got my divorce decree, I called him up, and I was like, hey, Greg, guess what I got? And he's like, what, darling? And that's my divorce decree. And I said, I know, you get them like Christmas cards, but this is my first one. And he just died laughing. So, yeah, so that was odd. But back to the tattoos. So because, the fleur-de-lis is associated with Paris, and beauty and strength were the 2 things that I promised myself I will never let anybody steal those from me again. And because I really came out of that just feeling hideous and weak, and I really, I'd like to say lifted myself, but, by the grace of God, I have a very tight connection with God, was lifted out of it and became very strong. And I don't regret any of the lessons and things that I brought from it. It wasn't fun, but it was well worth it.
And sometimes, we get angels here on Earth, right? Maybe Greg was your angel to kind of help you get through that.
Which is funny, because his hit is He's No Angel, right?
Right.
No Angel is his biggest hit.
Exactly.
But it really was. It was nice to have text daily, just to make me feel more like a person, have somebody to talk to and laugh and talk about music. And, he's nice. I mean, I've lost touch with him a little bit, but if I were to see him again, it'd be all big hugs and friends. And, he's a pretty interesting dude.
Right. Well, and he was there for you, and that's wonderful, So,
he was wonderful, and it really pissed the ex off, which,
I imagine so.
Bonus. Unplanned bonus. So again, I'm not vindictive, so I nothing. I go away quietly. But I have those tattoos. I have another tattoo on the inside of my arm for a friend that committed suicide.
Okay.
after I got divorced, and yeah, I had a real fun 2011.
Right.
And so some lyrics that were meaningful to her. On my lower back. Oh, my lower back is my first tattoo. I think I did my wrist with the knot. My lower back, my ex-husband actually had gotten for me as an anniversary present, and it says faith, and it has traditional swallows, and it has a cross going through a heart, and it's very significant of my faith and travel and
right.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I mean, tattoos are very much an expression of your life or what you're going through, and it sounds like you have some really nice tributes on your body, I guess. And
I do, and and of course now I want more.
Right.
They say you get that fever. So
yes, I've heard it's very addictive. I actually have no tattoos, and I keep saying I would like to get one, but I think if I got one, I would have 20. I just have that feeling. So that I probably would. So a lot of pain. That would be a lot of pain.
Oh yeah, they don't tickle, but I don't know. I think it's worth it.
Right.
I love it.
One of these days, I'll probably jump into that. Right.
Yeah, sure.
So right now the band is. You're basically at that point where you're writing music, I assume, and getting ready to gear up to make an EP or an album, a full length.
Yeah.
And you're headed out. You had mentioned to me before we started the interview that you're headed out to California.
Yeah,
so
I'm meeting up with the whole band in LA, and we're going to showcase for some labels and
right.
Meet with management and do that whole thing. And obviously that will dictate exactly how we get to put out some music, but either way, we're going to put out music. So
right. So you'll go out there, and which is great. And then after you do this, I assume we can expect some touring coming up soon, hopefully, and hopefully I would think by the spring and summer when all the shows and festivals get planned, hopefully you will be a part of that with Not by Sight, and we will look for an EP or a full-length album, probably an EP, maybe an EP first.
I have to dance around Saint Sonia's schedule because Corey is part of the foundation of this group, even though he doesn't play in it. He's very much the co-writer, the main co-writer with me and the producer.
Right. So you'll have to work with him.
That.
Okay. So, is there anything else that you can tell us about the band? Maybe a little bit about the style of the band. Would you consider yourself hard rock?
Yeah, it started when I first started writing with Corey. It's funny. I first started writing with his brother Clint from Seven Dust.
Okay.
And I had done a solo album. It was part of my cathartic, get all the bad stuff out, and I wrote this solo album, and I invited every friend that I had to be on it. I have like Bumblefoot from Guns N' Roses, and the bass player of King's X, and the bass player of Seether, and the bass player and drummer from Breaking Benjamin, formerly from Breaking Benjamin, and I just put everybody on it because I just wanted to do something really special. And I wrote half the CD with Clint, and when I first started writing with him, I was still breaking out of my shell. It's like I love heavy music. I listen to heavy music, and then I would write more poppy.
Okay.
And so with Clint, at first it was like we were trying to meld our two worlds, and then right when we were getting comfortable and maybe starting to go into a harder territory, we were done writing. He because obviously his schedule, I only had X amount of time
Right.
to work with him, and I had to get moving on the album. So you'll hear like right where it starts to go a little heavy. So then I picked up there kind of with Corey, and Corey has a different approach, and I love it. And I wasn't ready to go super heavy just yet.
Now, this is an album that you did, a solo album.
Yeah, that's under my name, Jane Train, and it's called Diary.
Okay, that's good to know. So, anybody...
Yeah, it's still available.
Yeah, because a lot of fans might be excited to pick that up and have a listen to that before you come out with your new music. I know that I'm very much like that. If I want to hear a band, I want to hear everything. I want to hear everything they've done. So,
yeah.
So
it's a very personal journey.
Right.
It really is. Like, that was very cathartic.
So that you worked with some pretty amazing people on that, and the name of it again, it was Jane Train and Diary. So fans should go. Is that on iTunes?
It is on iTunes.
Great.
And there's also hard copies on my
on your website. Okay.
JaneTrainOnline.com.
Okay, great. So if fans want a little preview of your voice and of your style, they can check that out, and they can also check out your single from Not by Sight.
Yeah.
And look up Stand on YouTube.
There's a video for Diary. I forgot to mention that on YouTube.
Oh,
It's
okay.
actually an official video for the soundtrack, and you'll see clips in there of when I got to open for Motley Crue, which was pretty cool.
Nice,
So,
nice.
Yeah.
So you did not open for them on this tour, but an earlier tour?
This was solo. It was like, I wasn't even prepared. I didn't even have a band. I just had this opportunity. They grabbed up people. It was like, we're opening for Motley Crue. One rehearsal, and we did it.
You know what, sometimes you just have to grab your opportunities in life, right? That's
absolutely.
I bet you had a blast doing that.
It was so much fun. I am so comfortable. The more people, the better. I came out with my arms in the air like a prize fighter. And I was so excited. And I'm sure people were like, who's this chick?
How long ago was it that you opened for Motley Crue?
That was May of 2013.
Okay, so a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, yeah.
I was trying to think. I think I saw them on that tour, so maybe I've actually seen you perform before. I don't know. Were you on the whole tour?
No, I wasn't. No, I just had the opportunity near Syracuse.
Okay, so you just played on limited.
Yeah.
But hey, that's even one show. That's amazing. That's so cool. Not something you want to pass up, right?
No.
So, all right. Well, we are here with Jane Train, and she has her new band, Not by Sight. She has many amazing performers in the band, and we can go to iTunes and find her solo work and your website. You're on all social media, I assume, Facebook and Twitter and all of those places. So look up Jane Train and hi.
Webpage, so
Okay, so
you can buy the single.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we will look for you soon with the new EP and the
awesome.
tour. Great.
I can't wait to get out there.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thanks.